Here's a question we get a lot. How much does Medicare cost? How much will it cost me? Well, the answer always is well, it depends. So it depends on a couple of things. And these are some things you would want to keep in mind when you're choosing whether to enroll in Medicare. If you have a choice when you're turning 65, maybe you have coverage through work and you're trying to decide, well, is Medicare the best option for me? Is staying on my work plan the best option for me? So there's some important cost considerations you want to take in mind. So with the parts that make up what they call original Medicare, which come from the government, are Medicare Parts A and then Medicare Part B. So the Part A, that's coverage for the inpatient care. So with Part A, if you've worked 40 quarters and paid into Medicare tax with 40 quarters or 10 years, or you've had a spouse that has worked that amount, there's no premium for Part A. Okay, so usually, you know, people may choose to enroll in Part A, even if they have employer coverage. One caveat to that is you want to make sure that the employer coverage you have is not an HSA compatible plan. Because if it is an HSA compatible plan and you're making contributions, you likely would want to delay Part A enrollment. Okay, so that's Part A. And then for Part Medicare Part B, again, that's coverage for like physician services, outpatient services. There is a standard premium for Part B, but then there are also premiums in excess of the standard amount based on your income, right? So they have a income related adjustment that they could put on the Part B premium. So generally, I'll show you a chart. Generally speaking, if you're an individual and then now they look back 2 years. So if you're enrolling into Medicare in 2025, they're going to look at your 2023 adjusted gross income. So if you're an individual and it's generally less than 106,000, you're looking at the standard premium. If you file a joint return and that joint return is 212,000 or less, then you're going to pay the standard Medicare Part B premium as well. Okay, so I want to pull up the chart for you so you can take a look at the screen here. Yep, so right here we have, this is right on cms.gov. That's not the right one. Yeah, so this you can see the standard Part B premium is 185, right? And then if your income, you can see the bracket here. So let's just use an example. Somebody that's filing jointly, they're between this 212 and 266. So they're going to add this $74 onto the standard premium, and then they're going to get to their premium of 259. So you can see in some instances, you're getting up to 630 bucks, 628.90. So they're, in that situation, somebody might look at that and say, okay, well, my employer coverage is less. I'm going to stay on my employer coverage and wait to get Medicare. If you're in that higher income bracket, that does happen quite a bit. Now, in addition to this income related surcharge for Medicare Part B, there's also one for Part D. And it goes up to 7610. That's in the highest income bracket. But the income related adjustment on the Part D, you're looking at anywhere from 11 bucks to 76 bucks as well. So sometimes people are aware of the Part B income related adjustment, but not the Part D. So you want to take both of those things into consideration as well. Now, the other thing is if you are retiring and your income was high in 2023, but it's no longer high now that you're enrolling into Medicare, and let's say it's 2025, you can appeal the surcharge. And generally, if you have something to show them, like them being, Social Security, then you know, they can reduce that sooner than waiting for the 2 years, right? So, like if you just didn't appeal it, and you think, okay, well, in 2027 it'll catch up. They'll see what it actually was in 2025. That is the case, but you can choose to appeal it sooner to get that Part B income related adjustment reduced faster, right? So you have your standard rate of 185 for Part B, no matter what, unless you're at a higher income. So Part B is going to range from 185 to 692. And then the Part D is going to range from um, 0 up to 76 for the surcharge amount or the income related adjustment amount. And then you have the premium cost. So that's just for original Medicare. I tell people right off the bat, you're going to pay 185, right? Because you have to enroll in Part B if you want to get a secondary plan, a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. So depending on your area, typically Medicare Advantage plans, they cost anywhere from 0 to $50, right? And then a supplement, again, depending on your area, but generally speaking, anywhere from $100 to $180 for Medicare supplement. So you're going to add that to your Part B premium. Drug plans, the average national drug plan premiums around $30. So just say anywhere from 0 to 40. So we use high numbers. Let's take 185. If you're getting a med sub and a drug plans, add another $200 to that. So you're around $400, right? Like if you got coverage that's towards the more expensive end. If you did an Advantage plan, maybe you're just looking at like, let's call it $200, right? So that would be a gauge. If you are a single tax filer and you're less than 106 for your adjusted gross income, if you filed jointly and you're less than 212,000 from 2 years prior to your enrollment date, then you're looking at that same price range, anywhere from 200 to 400. Now you can see if you're paying a Part B surcharge and a Part D income related adjustment, that $400 max cost could potentially balloon to, 1,000 to $1,100. So in those situations, typically you may see people decide to stay on their employer coverage if it's less than that, or even decide to stay on their employer coverage until their income goes down, which would occur when they retire, which again, you could appeal that surcharge and you can kind of get it overturned sooner than having to wait 2 years. So those are some key factors to keep in mind when you're trying to decide, should I stick with coverage through work? Should I go on the Medicare? You want to be aware of those income related uh, adjustment costs with Part B and Part D. So if this was helpful, you can check out this video as well about choosing whether or not to go on to Medicare if you have other options.